Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for the webinar. We just posted up in chat. There's going to be a little giveaway, so feel free to fill out that form and stay to the end if you want to be able to win your own pair of smart glasses. I'm joined today by Andy, who I think all of you certainly know by now, as well as Lee Ramse, product manager on the team. And the three of us are going to take you through a bunch of updates for the month. And then, as always, we will leave time at the end to go through all of your questions. As we go through the content, if you could use the Q&A module to post your questions, that'll make it so much easier for us to make sure we can get to as many of them as possible. So with that, I want to transition first into what's been newly released this month. And with that, I'm going to hand it to Lee to take you through the first project.
Thanks, Dee. I'm really excited today to talk to you all about Snapshot. So we built this in conjunction with CyberDrain. Syncro Snapshot is essentially a free and seamless Microsoft 365 tenant security assessment tool tailored for MSPs. It's designed to deliver fast and actionable insights without really any setup, hassles, credential storage, or any of that integration downtime. It's going to surface things like critical tenant data, including things like Microsoft Secure Score. It helps you identify misconfigurations, gaps, and risk exposure across identity, device, app, and the different data layers in M365. It's a really great and powerful dashboard and report that you can use to report to support teams, cross-sell and upsell opportunities, including things like backup, hardening, monitoring services, as well as managed service. It's really designed to help you save time, reduce tooling overhead, and standardize your assessments. So I'm also going to jump into a brief demo. I'll stop talking about it and show you. So let me share my screen. While I'm doing that, I'd like to just let you know that this will be kind of an overview or a preview. So it'll be a quick kind of amuse-bouche for this. We actually have a full webinar on Friday that will be available, and you can get all the information, deep dive, all that good stuff into it. So let's jump in. First and foremost, you'll need some global credentials to actually access the report. Once you do that, you'll be prompted to either run a basic or an advanced reporting assessment. So the difference between those two is just the licensing and the tenant. So basic assessment, great for those business basic, business standard, advanced reporting for more advanced licensing, so your business premium E3, E5. For this tenant, it's a demo tenant, and it does have an E5, so I'm going to go ahead and run the advanced. Takes just a few moments to get some basic data here. First and foremost, you'll see tenant information, so things like users, guest users, hybrid, all that kind of stuff. This is designed to be a security assessment, so front and center is going to be Microsoft Secure Score, so you'll have both the percentage score as well as the raw number. For those of you who aren't familiar with Microsoft Secure Score, it's essentially the way that Microsoft measures the overall security posture of a tenant. So it's also going to provide you things like how your tenant does against the average, as well as what security categories you have configured appropriately. As we kind of move down, you'll also see some other things like secure score recommendations. So these are the things that Microsoft recommends to harden that security posture, boost that secure score. And these are going to be the things that are going to do the most impact. So when you actually implement these recommendations, they're going to increase the score the most. The action URLs here will link out to Microsoft global admin centers to make these particular changes as well. And then as you kind of go further down, you're going to see things like common misconfigurations. So a lot of these have to do with like user access. So can users register applications? Can they create tenants? Can anybody just invite guests to your tenant? Those kinds of things. Further, you'll have some insight into app registrations. So the most recently registered apps, as well as those applications that maybe haven't been used in a while. So great opportunity to audit those, remove those things that may have access to your tenant that you just aren't using anymore. Of course, it'll have some insight into what global admins still exist. So how many global admins are in the tenant. You can see here I have about 11 in my demo tenant, which isn't recommended, but this allows you to audit those and pare down on the number of admins that you may have who have access to a live production tenant. And then, of course, MFA, right? The modern cornerstone to modern auth and to any kind of security posture is MFA. This is going to provide you with an overview of all the users in the tenant, if they have MFA, if they don't, and then you'll get a list of those who don't, so you can track those people down and make sure that they either are removed or have MFA. As we go a little bit further down, we'll have things like modern auth settings, inactive user accounts, unassigned licenses, and mailbox forwarding rules. These are often just a little bit more sort of oblique or attack vectors that aren't maybe as common or obvious, but are typically unmonitored, and so really handy to get a sense of what's going on in those places. As we move on, that's sort of where the basic report stops and the advanced reporting begins. So the rest of this is only available with those business premium E3, E5 licenses. And so as we move down, a couple of things I do want to call out. So the first is that you can export any of these sections to a CSV, PDF. You can also take a look at how the data is being responded to from Microsoft. So you can see how we're getting that data. And then any of these can be adjusted as well. So basic information is sort of what's displayed initially, but you can add any additional columns you want. Especially great for policies, since the name of the policy is directionally helpful, but what that policy actually does is more helpful. So it's a really good thing to expand there. And that's basically what advanced reporting is going to show: policies. So your conditional access policies, and then the rest of them are going to be your advanced mailbox protection. So things like anti-phish, anti-spam, safe attachments, anti-malware, safe links, that kind of thing. And then you'll have a quarantine review of your quarantine emails at the bottom there. So that's the dashboard. This comes in two pieces, two flavors. One is this interactive dashboard. The other is a report. So I pre-cooked that, like Martha Stewart taking her cake out of the oven here. It only takes a few moments to load. And you can change the branding color here. You can remove the different sections of the report. But basically, the report is going to give you a high-level overview of all the information that's in the dashboard. It's really designed to be an executive summary, a stakeholder summary, really designed for those people who need to know, but maybe don't have a huge background in security or have context or what some of these things mean. So each of these sections is going to provide a high-level overview, the actual data, and then it's also going to provide some additional information on how to action that data effectively. So again, this is just a little bit of a preview, teaser trailer, amuse-bouche, whatever you phrase you like to call it. We'll have a more in-depth and robust webinar on Friday. So I definitely encourage all of you who have an interest in that to check it out. Additionally, if you have any questions, thoughts, feelings, you can hit me up in our community, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions, help you out, what have you. Back to Dee. I have a ton more to share with the team.
Thank you, Lee. If you had said, like, I could have heard the words amuse bouche more than one time in the webinar today, I would have been surprised. But yes, it was a great snack or app or whatever you
Yeah,
like to call
I definitely didn't Google that either, by the way.
it. Me neither.
Hopefully I'm using it right. Don't look it up.
Amazing. Great. Thank you for that. And yeah, so for everyone that we can answer questions at the end, but the snapshot that Lee just demoed is freely available to anyone, and you can so you can go and run that read only. And as he said, there's a full webinar on that tomorrow on Friday if you want to dive deep on all the details of everything it's telling you. So with that, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about Power BI. We saw lots of folks building their own Power BI stuff or struggling to build their own Power BI stuff. We have an app that we had put out from a few years ago now, I think, or a couple years ago, that was in our team plan, but it was unable to be easily edited and customized. And so the team decided to create some pre-built dashboards in Power BI. These are available to everyone on all the plans, core, team, like they're available across the board. We're also going to make it so that the team plan app that we currently had, we're going to make that available as well to anyone in core who wants to use that app, and we're going to make it editable. But so these templates, you can really easily connect them to your Syncro account via the API. We have a little, couple-minute video on how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. And then we've included 5 different templates in here. So this is available today out on community. The first template is really an executive summary template. And once again, these are all editable. It kind of gives you that quick financial snapshot, total revenue, billable hours, pending ticket charges is all right here. And so it really breaks down kind of all the unbillable work so you can easily see, what money is on the line, make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And once again, you can customize this. It's all just built, in Power BI. The next dashboard really makes it easy. It's kind of a customer profitability dash for you to understand which customers are driving profit and which ones are potentially consuming a disproportionate amount of time, right? So there's a profitability ranking, which highlights kind of your top and like lower performing accounts. And the table kind of breaks down for each revenue, hours worked, profit per ticket. So you can kind of really get a sense for how this works. The next dashboard is really a look at your devices, right? So it lets you look at manufacturers, OS versions, warranty status, disk health. So you can look at, planning replacements. You can filter it by customer, so you can easily kind of drill in to any one customer and get a nice picture of what's happening there. The fourth one is really visibility into your current workload. How many tickets are open? How many are getting resolved each day? Who's carrying the highest ticket load? It allows you to drill into technician and customer, so you can kind of easily look at it with either of those lenses as well. And then the final dashboard is looking at technician productivity. How quickly are your tickets being handled? What SLAs might be at risk? What's your overall performance on resolution? I think one of the most powerful views in here is really that breakdown of issue types by technician, helping you understand who's taking on which kinds of work, making sure your tasks are well aligned with your skill set. So once again, these are available today. They're in the Community Hub. There's a special little spot in Community for them. It's downloadable. There's a video to show you how to hook them up. We're welcome to have conversations in Community there. And I think we're actually planning a power hour on these in January. So we'll walk through any questions folks have, give you tips and tricks on how to customize them. And so once again, these are open templates, so you can take them, you can connect them, and then you can make changes to them if you want to see anything different. And if you have questions on any of that or anything else, once again, if you could use that Q&A module, that will help us tick through them at the end and just make sure we get all your questions answered. Next up on the release docket is co-managed permissions. And so this is really for anyone who has, internal IT folks that are working alongside you and you want to give them access to do more things without needing access to all of your customers. We've added the ability to assign, security groups for assets, for scripting, as well as for reporting. So now your customers can hop in there and do those things without needing access to everything. And you'll continue to see us add more and more in terms of permissions throughout the platform. With that, I want to move into a series of quality of life updates. We continue to spend a fair amount of our time on QL updates, as well as bug fixing, as well as working on everything we can, and really focusing on making sure our performance is up to par and where it needs to be. And so huge focus of ours. So first, run at QL improvements here on reporting. A couple of things to call out. We've added a CSV export to the applied policy report. This is something a lot of folks asked for. We also added sortable columns to that ticket time entry report. So you can sort actual or billable or by date, just so you can easily spot unbilled work and kind of keep things running more efficiently. Once again, those are two things we heard loud and clear from a lot of folks. Some other smaller updates. I won't read the whole slide out loud to you, but we made a few other updates there as well. In terms of ticketing, we also have a lot of updates to ticketing. The focus for December was really to just address a variety of reported problems around creating tickets, updating tickets. So we made a bunch of small enhancements here, like additional CC fields on the ticket create page, like making it so that it just works more smoothly as you're adding and removing CCs. And we're looking at any sort of timeouts and performance on ticketing. So a lot of work happening there behind the scenes. All right. In the world of general QL updates, the one I'm going to call out here, I guess two I'll call out here. One is on chat. We did find an issue where chat sessions weren't always terminating properly on the back end. And so it was causing some of the assignments to not line up. And so we fixed that. So you should not see any more, issues with assignments not honoring the right place. The other thing we've done in the mobile app, we did some improvements around performance as well as some other things. And you'll see kind of upcoming, we're going to be doing a bunch more work on the mobile app as well. And then final QL slide. A few things around assets and save searches. So now you can look at Mac assets separately. We made a couple of fixes and updates in calendars and across the board. There's a whole lengthy list of these in our release notes for anyone who wants to see all of the detail of the fixes and updates that we made. With that, I am going to hand it to Andy to talk about some things that are in early access.
Man, that was 4 slides of quality of life stuff. That is a lot. That was pretty cool. So here's what's heading into early access. First up is an entirely new level of granular control over script access. You'll now be able to take your script categories and assign them out to security groups within Syncro. Quite a few use cases for this, but the two most common ones will be when you've got certain scripts that are far too complex for junior technicians to be messing around with, or you just don't want them having access to it. You can now have scripts cordoned off for your different tiers of text or the different types of work to be done and things like that. Second use case is for co-managed permissions where you might run, tier 2 or tier 3 support for another company that only handles T1 in-house. So this would be where you allow them access to certain levels of basic scripts and the ability to create scripts within their own categories while preventing them from accessing your entire library or editing any of your existing scripts and things like that. This is something that wasn't possible prior, so I know this one in particular is going to have a pretty large impact for a lot of people. This one specifically is heading into early access later this month. Next up are new controls for how you manage parent-child tickets within Syncro. This is going to be replacing the existing list of child tickets, which currently live on the parent ticket view. You're going to be able to customize these columns to easily see, work to be done when it's targeting completion, the current status of each individual element, along with additional data points like total hours that you spent so far, total charges to date, billable statuses, things like that. You'll also be able to update everything that you see here directly in line within this view for easier management as well. It's going to be very similar to our updated ticket view, how everything is now editable in line. This will follow suit as well. This one actually just went into early access today, so Caitlin is going to be dropping a sign up link to this one in the chat as well. And then last, but certainly not least, is our new Linux agent. Early access begins next week, and Caitlin's going to be dropping a link to that sign-up form in the chat also. Here's how this feature set's going to break down. So once this hits early access next week, the initial functionality is going to include asset tracking information, very similar to what we do with Windows and Mac machines today. We'll also support online and offline monitoring, as well as being able to trigger some common actions like tripping maintenance mode, reboots, and things like that. There's also a decent amount of additional functionality that's going to be rolling out into early access as soon as that's available. This functionality is currently being worked on as we speak. This includes things like scripting, remote access through Splashtop, and support for things like monitors and alerting like we have on the Windows and Mac side. We expect this second wave of functionality to be available sometime around mid-January or just before, depending on how quickly that rolls out. So again, you guys should have links in the chat to sign up for both of those. And that's everything heading into early access. Next up, we'll talk a little bit about Marketplace. We just released our new Ironscales integration. This one's proven to be very popular, much like our new ThreatDown integration we just launched right before that. So thank you to everybody who submitted that feedback around wanting to see us bring Ironscales into the platform. Please keep those suggestions coming. We definitely take those to heart when we're evaluating new vendors to bring into the platform. This integration specifically allows you to provision a new account right from within our App Center, or if you already have an existing Ironscales account, you can now migrate that into Syncro as well. In either scenario, it gets you access to our billing integration through our universal billing framework. This allows you to map your Syncro customers to your Ironscales customers, pull in that data usage into Syncro daily, report on that usage, and then, of course, you can automatically update your recurring invoices with accurate usage counts each day without, having to lift a finger. It's going to happen automatically for you. So once you set it, you can literally forget about it from that point forward. This also gets you, when you get your licensing through Syncro, it also gets you no minimums, no lengthy contracts to sign, and like the majority of our vendors, 100% of support is provided directly by Ironscales. No need to go through Syncro's support team first. With the Ironscales work complete, we just kicked off work on adding Microsoft 365 licensing into our universal billing framework. So we already grabbed that information as part of our new Entra ID sync functionality. So this is very simply going to translate over into reporting and billing mechanics in the same way our other supported vendors do. This means you'll be able to bill out for all of the allocated licenses or provide an allotment as part of your managed services contracts to where you say, hey, customer A, you're only going to pay for anything over 100 licenses of Business Premium or E5 or whatever they have currently deployed. Lastly, we're also going to look into having a toggle specifically for Microsoft 365. There were some folks that were saying, look, there's instances where we want to bill for all allocated licenses, but not the unallocated licenses. And there's other situations where we might want to bill them for everything, even if it's unallocated. So we're looking into adding a toggle for that so you can bill on a per customer basis or per recurring invoice basis, however you like, to give you some additional flexibility there. Then directly behind Microsoft 365 getting baked into universal billing, we're going to be adding support for Bitdefender as well. This will be identical to everything else we've been adding to our universal billing framework, so no surprises there. And I know this one specifically has been getting a ton of requests lately, so I'll be excited when we get to kick off development on this one. Okay, so that's everything in Marketplace. Dee, I'm going to kick it back to you to talk about our roadmap.
Sounds great. All right, so we will go through the roadmap. The first slide here in roadmap is one that I meant to edit before I came into the webinar, so we're going to just talk about it quickly. Mobile app. So the biggest project on mobile app right now is updating our ticket sorting and filtering. So it'll be much like you see on the web app. We're also doing a bunch of work on performance in the app to make sure it's loading quickly and performance. And then also looking at subdomain, making it a lot easier to log in. A lot more to come, but that's what's currently on the docket. You'll see coming really soon in the mobile app. Next up on the roadmap, project management. We talked about this last month. I won't go through it in as much detail this month, but we are doing a series of projects to make sure we're supporting kind of all the phases of project management across the platform. And so if we go down to the next slide, you can see the specific projects that we're starting to work on. And so first, we launched last month that ability to have your ticket views available in your report builders. So that way you can build a report that is just based on a ticket view. So you can say, I only want to see project tickets, or I only want to see service tickets. Or a specific type of ticket, whatever it is, any sort of view you have set up, you can now use in those report builders. This month, heading into EA, as Andy just talked about, we have this idea of viewing and updating your child tickets so you can actually see those summaries. And then in progress, we are working on creating ticket blueprints. And I have a whole slide on ticket blueprints next. And then we're going to continue marching down the path of allowing you to clearly visualize and manage your parent-child tickets, excluding project-related tickets from all your recurring billing. We have more projects on the docket after that. And so, like I said, project management is a series of projects that we'll be delivering to you month on month. If you go to the next slide, we can see a little bit more on ticket blueprints. The idea here is to really make it simple for you to create a blueprint, if you will, of a set of children and a parent. So maybe you have a project that you do all the time. It's like onboarding a new employee, setting up a new network, whatever it is. And there's a certain set of steps that you always want to go through. You can really easily quickly create all of the content for that parent ticket, for all the child tickets. And then whenever you create a new ticket, you can just choose to apply a blueprint. It will automatically create one or more tickets for you, so you won't have to go through that manual process of creating those all one at a time. All right, in the shipping soon category. So this is things that, people are working on actively. They're in development. Always quality of life updates. The Linux agent, heading out into early access, script access by category to allow you to restrict certain categories of scripts, out early access. Ironscales, did we release
Yep,
that?
that one's good.
Whoops.
Yep.
So, and
No,
then
it's good to be ahead of schedule, so no problem there.
perfect. And then, adding the top 5 devices to the executive summary report so you can understand which devices are having the most issues really, really easily in that executive summary report. And then the ticket filtering, as we talked about with Syncro Mobile. So those are all things that are kind of actively in flight. Next up, in terms of things that are in motion, and I would probably move the Microsoft 365 billing into the other category where people are actively working on it. And we have a lot of this is actually in flight already. So Microsoft 365 billing, we talked about expanding our baselines. So you'll see a lot more baselines. What Lee demoed earlier was, kind of a separate assessment, right? That's this nice read-only free one-time assessment. This idea of these baselines and expanding our baselines. This is one of the things the asterisk is for team plan users. And so you'll see there are very few places in here we have it, but this is a team plan feature. And it's going to allow you to essentially run those ongoing assessments against a much larger rule set. And it's going to make it so that it's a lot easier for us to continue to add rules in there, because we've heard from a lot of you that you like the sys-aligned baselines, but you want to extend on it, or you want to have something specific to you. And so we want to make sure we have that covered. So you have an ongoing assessment of your Microsoft tenant week on week. So you're looking at, or day on day. So you're looking at monitoring drift and making sure everything stays in line. We're also working on Stripe ACH. More to come after the new year in terms of getting that into folks' hands. And then the Linux agent kind of next phase. And so Andy already talked about kind of like our first phase, and then, being able to add on to that as part of our roadmap. We also have a couple other reporting projects, exporting asset views to CSV, making it easier to track unbilled work. The ticket blueprints project that I talked about are all kind of things that are in motion. And then if we look at more on our radar, we have easy app uninstall, ability to work with product bundles and make that easier, tracking script log changes, continued project management and reporting enhancements upcoming, enhancing our chat, our Mac agent. And then the final roadmap slide, sorry to do a lightning round, but I want to make sure we leave lots of time for questions. Exporting ticket views to CSV, looking at ticket views by date range, and then some other things in the project management space also on our radar. So with that, let me hand it back to Andy to talk about community a minute.
Yeah, a couple quick updates from Jess, our community manager, which I'm going to relay for you all. So we're going to be closing out the year with a big thank you to our amazing community, and that includes giving away some awesome prizes in our community forums. We're going to be announcing the rules for that on Monday, and you can enter to win each one of these prizes individually. So be sure to check out the forums next week when that's announced. And last up, before we move on to Q&A, is our December Community Member Spotlight. This month's spotlight goes to Ashley Radcliffe of NTPC. Not only has Ashley been a very active member of our community and a Syncro customer for a very, very long time, but she also happens to live close by to me. So we occasionally get to hang out. Her and her husband come. We talk shop over some kick-ass Texas barbecue, which happens to be one of my favorite things to do with our longtime Syncro customers. So at any rate, congratulations, Ashley. Thank you for being a longtime customer and a very active member of our Syncro community. Okay, so with that said, that's the end of our prepared content for today. So let's hit some Q&A. Dee, do you have anything queued up?
I have a few things queued up. So a couple of questions came in on the Power BI reports, and so maybe I'll take a few of those. So one was, are there additional data points that are available in these new reports? And I believe the answer is yes. We did take advantage of some more endpoints to bring different types of data into these dashboards, and we looked at, what are the things that people most commonly asked for. You can bring in anything into these reports that's available in our API. We also continue to month on month make updates and improvements to the API. It's an area that we are focused on. And so we'll make more endpoints available to you as well over time that you can use in Power BI or in other places as well. Next question was, is this going to be usable on Power BI Online without the need for desktop? And so you'll need desktop in order to make edits to these reports, but you can view them and interact with them using Power BI Online. So it's pretty easy to just give someone, a browser link to be able to see the content in these reports. And then another question from Cole around, is there a way to create a client dashboard that's restricted to just their data? And so you can filter the report and have a dashboard that is just client data. And then Daniel was doing some magic, and I think he was going to post to community, looking at how you might even be able to make that available right in the Syncro icon, so that like right from their desktop icon, they could just access those client reports if you wanted to make them available in that way as well. There'll be a lot more to come on the Power BI reports end of January. I think Daniel, Chen from my team, Vance, I think there'll be a few folks that are kind of our internal Power BI experts are going to be hosting a Power Hour. Between now and then, you're welcome to head to community, ask questions, have some conversations, and then they'll also be demoing a lot of this and kind of just taking a bunch of questions and walking through kind of step by step how to get a lot done.
Got a question from Ray. How do we suggest vendors to integrate with the platform? There's two ways. You can always suggest it on our community forums, or the better way now is we've got a product feedback right in the app. So if you just check out the little question mark in the top of your Syncro header, there'll be an option for product feedback that comes into the product team and helps us analyze, quantity of requests and things like that. Mike is asking, how will M365 billing work if you're getting licenses from a distributor like TD Synnex? So that's the cool thing about our Entra ID sync. We don't care who you get your licensing from because it doesn't matter. So when we link to one of your Entra tenants, we'll pull over all your contacts, your end users within that tenant. We will automatically pull all of their licensing as well. So we'll know what's on there, and we'll know it's applied to customer A or customer B. And then anything to the right of that is exactly like it works with our model today. You won't have to map a customer in this instance because we already know where it belongs to. So we'll just be able to report on it by customer, by license type, and then you'll be able to flow that into your recurring invoices. And those counts will automatically change daily as they change within your tenant. So yeah, no surprises there. It doesn't matter who you get them from.
So a couple on some projects we talked about. So one is status of Stripe ACH. It is a project that is in flight. We are working on it. I think after the new year, you'll hear more from us about exact timing and more details on it, but we are making progress against that project. And then someone else asked around a timeline for per client, either portal customization and script access. In terms of script access, I think we heard that that is in early access as of today, I believe. And so, and then I do not have any updates on a per client portal customization.
Let's see what else we got here. Dee, there's a question about Stripe ACH. If we need to hold this for next month, this one's okay, but they're asking if it'll be available in Canada.
I believe our phase 1 of Stripe ACH will, I believe it is US only for phase 1, and then quickly moving into support for other countries. Great. I got a question from Todd. Are there plans to add devices that are syncing, especially mobile, from Intune into Syncro? We do have some plans to do work in Intune with devices in 2026. I haven't put specific projects out on our roadmap yet, but yes, we do plan to make it a lot easier for you to have insight and access into your Intune managed devices inside of Syncro.
Well, another question about, yes, just to reiterate, people are posting other distributors. Doesn't matter your distributor, we don't care for the Microsoft 365 billing. Get it from anybody. It's going to be compatible with what we're doing at Syncro. Switch it from PAX to Ingram, Ingram to PAX, doesn't matter. We're going to support it regardless.
Right. You have to be using the Entra ID sync, right, in order to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you've got the tenant synced, we'll pull licensing for it.
Yep. Perfect. Someone's asking about SMS inside of the mobile app. That is not on our current roadmap. It's something that we've heard interest in and we'll look at. I know that Bobby and team are focused right now on searching performance, and making sure that login is really streamlined. We've also started to float some other enhancements to the app. So keep your feedback coming, and he'll continue to march out improvements to that as we go.
Just a couple product feedback type things. Todd's saying, hey, tracking down products and services on recurring invoices, especially when there's a lot of recurring invoices, can be difficult. Is there anything in the works to provide like a better search or reporting for this? Todd, I think that's a good suggestion. I know what you mean. Like if you want to say, hey, I have this product, show me all the recurring invoices it's on, or we need to update something. Do me a favor, just let us know what you're thinking specifically. Just go into the product feedback in the in your Syncro app and just click that question mark and fill that out for us. So we've got everything down that you're thinking. That's the best way to dump feedback to us.
I got one here around the snapshot assessment that Lee demoed earlier. Are we going to be able to remove the Syncro logo from the snapshot report? And the answer is yes. That should be available in an update coming soon-ish to that report, so you can do that. Today, you can remove, there's a page in there that has, like a Syncro logo and diagram on it. You can remove the page today, but the logo, we're also looking to do an update, so you can remove that if you'd like to from the report. I got one more come in here around Stripe, and are we looking at adding support for credit card terminals for folks that want to have that support? The answer is yes. We would like to add that ability to have hardware support. It would come in a later phase after a first initial rollout, but it is something that is on our radar for sure. All right.
Asking in the background, somebody's asking about about invoices in the mobile app. And as of today, that's something we'd like to do, but it looks like at best that'd be something we'd look at in the second half of next year, definitely not in the first half.
Another mobile app question around sorting the ticket list from new to old in the mobile app. And so, yes, we are super close to having not only the ability to sort your tickets new to old, but to do a similar type of sorting and filtering as you can do in the web app right in mobile. So you can have a lot more control over your ticket list in there, make it just a lot easier to find what you're looking for and see your list.
Mikhail's he's asking, is Andy offering his camera back out as a shareable GIF? I just got this from marketing and I love this. It's got snowflakes and stuff moving around. So if you want to use this in your Zoom calls, shoot me an email. I'll send you a link to it because that'd be awesome. Love it. Shane's asking, backup options are just M365. If you're talking about the Syncro Cloud backups, today that's exclusively Microsoft 365 backups, your email, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, all that kind of stuff. We're looking at potentially expanding that in the future, but for now, our core focus is on M365 backups specifically.
Oh, how does the snapshot sit in terms of our baselines, and do they both kind of live side by side? And so I think of it in two ways. The snapshot is really, from a use case perspective, is really intended to be for a prospect, oftentimes, or even checking, your own tenant. It's a one-time read-only snapshot, if you will, of the security posture of that tenant, where our baselines are intended to be, kind of an ongoing management where you are looking, kind of on a regular basis at where something stands. And so the way, we've talked to folks that are looking at both of these things would be you use something like the snapshot to go win new business, kind of bring them on, and then you use our baselines to make sure that over time, the things that you set up stay set up and you can report them out easily and look at them. So they do kind of live side by side and complement each other.
Just bringing up something about chat, since we were talking about chat, is there any plans to add chat sections to existing tickets in plain text instead of needing to copy paste a link before the chat ends and we lose it forever? Not today, but I would say that you wouldn't lose it forever. So anytime you finish a chat, you archive it and it goes. If you look in the customer record, there's a chat tab and all of the chat history is there. That uses the same link. So if you ever want to link it to a ticket, you can just open that chat tab even after the fact. And then go ahead and just add that link to the ticket. And the reason we do that is because some of the chats literally can go on for like days. And so that would just be like a massive thing in your ticket. So it's easier to link that out and just have your tab in a new section. And then also you'll see all the back and forth history just like you would if it was happening live. So you don't have to worry about trying to translate that into a ticket. And George is asking, and Dee, I don't know if we have information on this. He's saying I have EU clients that want to have their Syncro Cloud backups in an EU data center. Do we have any updates on that?
That is definitely something that is on our roadmap to do. I don't have a date just yet, but we do plan to add the ability to spin up in an EU data center. So stay tuned, and I'll try to get an update for that maybe by our next webinar.
Okay. And then I got two left, and I think unless anything else pops up, we'll end it early here. John's asking with the Power BI, and actually I don't know this, so if one of the product folks can answer this in the background, is all the data access real time or does it batch updates weekly?
The data in the Power BI reports, and folks can check me on this on the back end. So it's just using our API. So as you load up a report, it's going to pull the data as you load the report. And then when you refresh the page, it would pull your data. And so that's essentially the way it works. So it's just using our API. So it'd be more of a real time kind of as page loads, data load.
So it's real time, but it wouldn't update. Like you'd have to just refresh the page to get a new set of data. Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Somebody was asking about Ironscales functionality. So you would manage Ironscales directly through the Ironscales portal, like any type of like configuration and the API calls to sync your tenants and things like that. In terms of usage, we would pull in your usage, your license usage from Ironscales, link it to your customers, report on that, and then you'd be able to roll that into your recurring invoicing automatically. So that's like the Syncro portion of the integration.
Right, maybe two more. And then, so one is a question on credit card terminals and WorldPay. We don't currently have plans to add terminals in WorldPay, but if I hear enough requests for it, we can definitely consider it and go talk to them about that. And the other update I got on an EU region for Syncro Cloud backup is we do believe we'll have that in place before the end of Q1. We'll have a data center available in the EU for you to store backups.
Last one I'll grab here quick. Somebody's just saying, hey, XMM is a feature in. So XMM is extended monitoring and management. So it's obviously like it's marketing, but it's RMM PSA, and now we've got the Microsoft management as the third leg of that. And the Microsoft management pieces are Team Planner. So all of the things we were talking about, the Entra desync, the baselines, being able to do things like reset passwords and MFA for end users and Microsoft tenants out of your Syncro instance, all of that is available today. That's all linked in the Team Plan. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on today. Thank you for the questions.
We have to give away glasses, don't we? Isn't there
I forget that every time I saw Caitlin pop on. I was like, what did I forget? Okay. You're up, Caitlin. So we're giving away a pair of Meta glasses today.
That's right. Thanks everyone. All right, I've got everyone's name on this wheel spinner, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a spin and see who it lands on, who our lucky winner is. All right, here's
They need
this.
to be here to win, so we'll double check.
All right, Craig Taylor, are you in the house? Let me take a look at the. Yes, Craig Taylor is here in the attendees. Hey, Craig, congratulations. I will reach out to you right after this webinar to get a good shipping app address for you. Congratulations. All right.
Congrats, Craig.
Yeah, it's
Thanks
great.
everyone for joining.
All
All right.
right, we'll see
Thank
you
you
all next
all.
month.